So TDS, EC and PPM meters, are they actually necessary, and how do you use them and why are you using them? The first answer is actually yes, you need them when you're large scale and you grow a lot of plants. TDS, EC and PPM stands for electrical conductive, TDS stands for total dissolved solids, and PPM stands for parts per million. But all three of them are measured through electric conductivity. It's just a way of how to measure it through calculations and all that makes a difference. For the most part, EC is used commercially and it works. It's actually necessary for large scale to keep an optimized and consistent fertilizer level in water. But also, measuring only by EC is the worst thing to do, because not every fertilizer on the market will register on an EC meter like this cheap one from AliExpress, but also an expensive one from Blue Lab. This product is about 50% nitrogen by weight, and therefore really potent and has the capability of killing a lot of plants when you mix this in the wrong ratios. Also, it has a registered EC value of 0, 0. It will not register. So a lot of people make the mistake of mixing up batches and they see 0, 0. So they start adding more and more and more. And well, the nitrogen level raises to a certain threshold which has the capability of killing the plants. And they make the mistake of still giving it to the plants and killing them all. So in this small demonstration I used the fertilizer which doesn't register an EC value. So not all fertilizers will register by EC, TDS or PPM. It's a generalized way of measuring for greenhouses, for commercial growers, but also a little bit large scale growers. A funny story, a couple of months ago we were at a greenhouse, and yes, I do have one. And yeah, I mixed up a batch that's concentrated. So mixed up a batch of concentrate. Yeah, one of our interns thought it was just water, so he threw the bucket away against about 30 plants. All the plants were dead within a day. But he assumed there was nothing in it because it registered 0, 0. So one common mistake is that people assume that because it's a very high EC, it's therefore very or toxic, or it has the capability of producing more fruits. Yeah, it only means that there's a lot of metallic ions in it. And one of the, actually two mains that gonna raise the EC value pretty fast is calcium and magnesium. You just need a little bit to raise it a lot. So high EC value doesn't really mean a lot, but also a low EC value only means that there's less phosphorus, potassium, calcium and magnesium, but maybe it has a lot of nitrogen in it. Also, one thing that we use a lot is supplements that have the capability of unlocking the fertilizer that's already locked in potting soil. So it's going to chelate or react with fertilizer that's already in the soil. It's going to release the NPKs and trace minerals. So sometimes we add other products to keep the EC level low, but the other products, so the supplements, will unlock the fertilizer that's already locked in the soil. But getting back to the original question, is PPM and EC and TDS meter actually necessary? And the answer is, I really do recommend it when you go large scale, especially when you grow commercial. For the home grower, for the home consumer, we do recommend it when you're above a certain threshold, say about 10 plants. It's easier to mix up fertilizer batches and keep the EC value consistent. So when you mix a batch, you check it, it's between say 2.4, 2.6, and you keep that level consistent so the plants doesn't get in shock. But when you're below, say 5 to 10 plants, you're better off just using the feed chart or reading the package and mixing up the batches that way. On my other channel called Dutch Pepper Lovers, you can see our greenhouses are way of working. We use dosatrons, we use large scale equipment, we use Blue Lab, we use Milwaukee. So we're familiar with using that stuff because we grow a lot of plants, especially peppers and tomatoes, and they're all automated. So yes, we have a large scale operation. For the home grower, to be exact, yeah, these little TDS EC meters actually work great, but there's one small problem. Those prawns right there, they're nickel plated. Within a couple of months, the nickel plating is, it's gonna get removed by the chemicals, minerals. It's gonna lose its accuracy within a couple of months. But for €3, it's very cheap and it works. However, when you grow large scale, you need something like a Blue Lab or Milwaukee, which is more chemically resistant. And yeah, it has the capability of reading and turning off or on an alarm, because one thing that happens quite often actually is that the bucket with concentrate dries out. So in one of our greenhouses we grow tomatoes, peppers and cucumbers. And we go through about 30,000 liters of water a day, which is a lot, but it's a recycling system, so a lot of it gets put back in the system. However, when you run that much water through those little itty bitty prawns like this one, it's gonna eat it away within a couple of hours. And with a Blue Lab, it's chemically resistant, so it works way longer. So yeah, for home users, we actually do recommend those AliExpress, Temu things, but for the commercial growers and for the large scale growers, we actually recommend Blue Lab or Milwaukee or something similar. So a lot of friends and a lot of people that I know on Facebook groups and on Discord, we talk a lot about fertilizers and EC values and all that, but one thing that happens a lot lately is that fertilizer companies don't really specify an EC value, and there's a good reason for it. Every spring, every person that has a tap inside of a house, every region, even the difference between 100 meters between houses, there is a difference in EC value or in PPM. So when a company is specifying a specific EC value for a fertilizer, it's based on RO, reverse osmosis, or demineralized water, but it's not specified on pond water, on tap water, on spring water. It's specified on demineralized water because it doesn't contain any ions. So when a customer is mixing up a batch with tap water, they get an EC value that's completely thrown off from the EC value that's registered on a package, which is on the label. So that's why a lot of companies these days don't specify any EC values anymore on the package or on the website. But when you're just a beginner, you can mix up a batch specified by the weight on the package, by feature, measure the amount, and you know exactly in which range you have to be in, because the amount of calcium and magnesium and iron in tap water overall, especially in Holland, Belgium and Germany, it's not going to throw off the fertilizer in the bucket. It's not going to do a lot of harm because it's not that high. For other countries, especially where there's a lot of calcium and magnesium, you should use fertilizer that's specifically designed for that, because I know there are countries and places where the calcium and magnesium levels in water is really high, especially in a place called Covington. We went a couple of months ago to Covington because my baby girl wanted to see the area where the Vampire Diaries is recorded. I wanted to see the Dukes of Hazzard. But on arrival, my insurance company actually called us because there was some pollution in the water or something like that. But the people over there are amazing. So yeah, we asked around and said what's going on. They actually didn't know anything because nobody drinks tap water over there. So yeah, we didn't know, but we went to a nursery and they had a lot of calcium problems because they're using a Venturi system and they get clogged up every day because of the high amount of calcium. So yeah, it's in some areas it's a big problem, but you should always use fertilizer based on the amount of calcium and magnesium that's in the tap water or from the spring or from the source that you get the water from. And that's one of the reasons why Nutrigrow Solutions creates custom fertilizers specifically for those companies that have really big equipment, but a lot of failures, especially with those nil nozzles and nipples, which get clogged up fairly easy with a lot of calcium and magnesium because they're just 1 millimeter, and when it dries out it will not run anymore and it gets clogged up. Plants don't get any water and they're losing their product. Measuring EC, it doesn't say that the amount of calcium or magnesium is high. It doesn't say if the phosphorus or potassium is off. It doesn't say if the nitrogen levels is off. It doesn't say that the supplements are off or too much. It doesn't say anything. It's just a combined value of the metallic ions in a bucket of water. That's it.
Summer nights, watch them go by as we fight off the cold. Holding you tight, you know just what I'm thinking. I don't want this moment to go.